Good morning, and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. This week is the Glasgow Derby, and this is a picture of netting at Celtic Park being put in place. Now, let's remind ourselves of why. Now, before we go any further, can I get everyone to like and comment on this video and share it with a friend? Because I think that some of the fans need reminded exactly what happened. And even John Hartson said at the time, he says, shame it's came to this, but everyone is fully aware who started the no away fans or little away fans decision. Now let's get on with it. There was 11 titles. At the time, there was 11 titles in 12 years for us to go and win. That was John Hartson. And let's face it, over the years, Celtic fans and even staff, even the most current one, when they won 3-0, one of our players got hit on the head with a coin. With a small selection of Celtic fans that used to go to games, Celtic took them out because of safety concerns. And it felt that netting was being put in place. Now, when you see the Union Bears walking out the way that they did, why did they do that? It was because of this back in the day. It's because this back in the day, this is what started it. Yes, Bruni, Lustig and other players celebrating far too much at Ibrox. They've done it on a regular basis and they've done it consistently, and it was something that the Union Bears and their fans didn't agree with. They didn't agree with at all. The fact that this was a fan-led reduction, it wasn't until the 1990s, the late 80s, coming into the 1990s, that the first reduction started at Ibrox. Yes, Celtic fans used to get more than just the Broomlawn stand at Ibrox. They used to got a larger section, basically because Rangers fans couldn't fill Ibrox themselves at the time in the 1980s. And Rangers fans, if you're watching, go back and check your history. Before David Murray came in, you couldn't fill your stadium. You never did fill your stadium. But anyway, we digress. David Murray brought in the reduction of Celtic fans in the 1990s and gave us just the one stand, which was Celtic then, when they redeveloped their stadium, we gave them a little corner. Of half of the main half of a stand and a corner. This was in direct correlation to the amount of tickets that Celtic got. Why would they give them a full stand? Well, it would mean that they got more at Celtic Park than we got at Ibrox. So both sets of fans were given 7,000 seats each. With the reduction and the fans, it was a fan-led thing over the years that they wanted to reduce the amount of Celtic fans at Celtic Park. In 2017, Rangers fans had a desire to cut the allocation. And let's face it, because we absolutely scudded them on an ongoing basis. Yep, we did. We beat them too many times at Ibrox, and seeing them leave in the 70th and 80th minute on a regular basis while we celebrated at Ibrox, on a regular basis, was absolutely brilliant to be part of at the time. I remember one game when Lee Griffiths wasn't, I think he may have been injured, but he was in beside us, and we all got our picture taken going in with Lee Griffiths going into the ground, and at the end of the game he's up and he's waving the tricolour. Get it right up, yous. And it was absolutely fantastic, and it was brilliant, and it was good. And there was times that we got beaten at Ibrox and it wasn't as good as you could expect. There was times that I used to turn my back to them. I couldn't stand them singing and wait till the game started before I turned round. But because we know that we'd score pretty quick and then shut them up for the rest of the game. That was the best bit. I know people that will never go back to Ibrox, even with the increase in allocation, because of what they've done. And I know many Celtic fans that do not want them. But remember this was all done because Celtic fans were getting hit with bottles, hit with coins. Even Celtic staff got hit and injured. Our fans were not safe at Ibrox. So Celtic pulled the plug on any away allocation until Rangers put in netting like this. This week sees The return of the animals. You don't care what the animals say. What the hell do we care? It does see a return, and part of the return for away fans was the introduction of netting into Scottish football. It's something that we've never really seen in Scottish football, and it takes us back to the dark old days of the 1980s and the late 70s more than anything. The late 70s, where there was more trouble at the Glasgow Derby. The old firm, as it was called then, because it was before they died, wasn't it? There is no old firm now because they went into liquidation, died, didn't pay the face painter, started over as a new co, had several owners, and now they're going through the same process again. Let's hope that the liquidation comes again. But who cares about them? It is all about making sure that our fans at Celtic Park are safe. And there's been many times that coins were thrown onto the main stand, bottles were thrown to the main stand from that corner of fans. And let's face it, we need to make sure, if I was Celtic, I would put netting at the front of the stadium, in front of their stand also. This netting is not enough. I hope that they're caged in like animals, because that's what they deserve. And for them to come a bit, what about this, what about that, is a ridiculous argument for any grown adult. Well, but you hit Dallas with a coin 30 years ago. The fact that even when they were winning 3-0 in January, the one and only cup that we win, Rangers, we beat Celtic once a year cup. The fact that even when they were winning, one of our players gets hit on the head with a coin. Gets hit in the head with a coin. It's absolutely unbelievable in this day and age. And there's no need for it. There is no need for it. You know, and they could say, who cares? Anyway, in other Celtic news, obviously Brendan Rodgers and the boys will be getting ready for the weekend. But I think it was just a reminder that the real story behind the Derby allocation cut needs to be out there, because even though the club have agreed around about 2,500 fans each to get into the Glasgow Derby, the agreement was part of a broader effort to make it a bit of a better experience for TV. Because let's face it, the atmosphere at Derby games now is just woeful. It is woeful because there is no away fans. But we move on, and we move to the game this weekend. The fact that Celtic got the planning permission and everything done first, it's here, there or there, isn't it? Anyway, we spoke about last night, on the live last night, the potential team. I think the team will be pretty much the team that started the game at the weekend. You're going to go with your strongest team. That will be Jeffrey Sloop. It will be the two Americans who have been called up for their national team. Austin Trusty and Cameron Carter-Vickers, and it's great for them, and it's also great the fact that they play on the Friday night and then they travel home. And then there'll be Alistair Johnson, who's also been called up for his national team. Good to see Ali Johnson. They're wanting to win the competition. This is how good Canada are when it comes to that competition and that side of the world. They're aiming to win it. It'd be fantastic, but just calm down, Ali. You're staying at Celtic. And then when you go to the midfield, there's going to be Rio Hatate, Callum McGregor and Arnie Engels will start the game. Paulo Bernardo is still injured. He is injured for a couple of weeks yet. He will be out until after the international break. And when it comes to the front three, he will go with the tried and tested up front. He will go for power and pace, which means the three wingers will start and Adam Idah will be dropped onto the bench. Adam Idah even said himself, look, what Dyson Myra brings to the game makes him the number one striker at Celtic at this moment, and he's fully aware that he's going to be an impact. But let's face it, Big Adam likes a goal against the Sevconians. He did so in the Scottish Cup final last year, and to win it, and he's not adverse to scoring against them. Now that we've lost Kyogo, well, that's in the past. It's here and there. There was talk last night, if you missed the video last night, about the Fitzgarden transfer that may happen again this summer, and we can understand why Celtic pulled the plug, because there's a clause in his contract that said he could be released between 8 and 10 million this summer. So Celtic went, bugger it, we're not going to wait. We're going to, rather than get a gun held to our head when it comes to transfer fees like we did with Norwich and Adam Idah, but Adam Idah's worth the money all day long. That would just wind everyone up when I say that. But I think that Celtic were right to hold off until the summer. and then make their move and save themselves £6 million in the process. And you've got to remember, he is still only 22 years old. He still is only 22 years. Anyway, it's the Derby win that we must do. Tosh McKinley, what are you doing on the screen? Why is Tosh on the screen? Jesus, where did that come from? It's just been infiltrated by Tosh McKinley. The Nets, tell me what you think about that. Will you feel safe at Celtic Park this weekend? Will you feel safe going to a Glasgow Derby? With them bringing fans back, going to have to listen to their sectarian bile and up to their knees in Fenian blood and all the other nonsense that they sing, but who cares? Because we don't care what the animals say. What the hell do we care? We only know that there's going to be a show and the Glasgow Celtic will be there. Anyway, on that note, make sure you join me at 8 p.m. in Celtic Park Town tonight, where we'll talk more about predictions. And Sinisalo has also made his... he's made the cut for his national team. When it comes to the bench, who knows? Talk about it tonight. On that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.